Ever had one of those days where everything just annoys you, where minor inconveniences feel like personal attacks? A spilled coffee, a slow internet connection, or even a friend's innocent comment can suddenly trigger a disproportionate wave of irritation or outright rage. It feels like the world is conspiring against you, fueling an intense internal firestorm. You snap at a loved one for a trivial remark, or find yourself fuming about a social media post that, in hindsight, wasn't a big deal at all. Later, a perplexing wave of confusion washes over you, making you wonder, why did I react like that? It wasn't really about that small thing, was it? This feeling, this frustrating disconnect between a minor trigger and an intense emotional outburst is a surprisingly common human experience. It often leaves us feeling guilty, misunderstood, and seemingly powerless over our own volatile reactions. What if I told you that in many of these moments, anger isn't the root emotion you're truly experiencing? Psychologists have a fascinating term for this phenomenon, anger as a secondary emotion. This concept suggests that our anger often serves as a powerful protective shield, a loud and attention-grabbing reaction that cleverly covers up more vulnerable primary emotions lurking beneath the surface. You can think of it as an emotional bodyguard for your deeper feelings. These primary emotions can be profound feelings like fear, deep sadness, gnawing anxiety, crushing disappointment, or even a hidden sense of insecurity. We often express anger because acknowledging these softer, more vulnerable feelings can feel incredibly uncomfortable, exposing us to perceived weakness or further pain. Our ego frequently steps in during these moments, instinctively preferring the perceived strength and control of anger to the perceived vulnerability of admitting sadness or fear. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism, meticulously designed to protect us from potential emotional pain or public humiliation. Research into emotional expression, such as early work by Dr. Paul Ekman on basic emotions, often highlights how anger is one of the most overtly expressed emotions. It's often psychologically easier to display outward aggression than to reveal inward distress or a deeper sense of hurt. Let's imagine Sarah, casually scrolling through her Instagram feed, suddenly sees her friend Maya's jubilant post about a fantastic new job promotion. Sarah immediately feels a sharp surge of irritation and mutters, "Maya always gets everything handed to her so easily," feeling a distinct pang of anger. But beneath that immediate anger, if Sarah were to pause and genuinely reflect, she might discover something else entirely. Perhaps she's been struggling immensely in her own job search, feeling increasingly stuck and undervalued in her current role. Her primary emotion isn't true anger at Maya, but rather a deep-seated disappointment in her own career progress and a quiet envy of Maya's success. In this instance, the anger becomes an emotionally safer emotion to express, a convenient way to deflect from the painful, uncomfortable feelings of inadequacy or jealousy. It serves as a strong defense against confronting her own anxieties and insecurities about her career path. Consider Alex, who's been having genuinely promising conversations with someone he met on a dating app for several days. Suddenly, without warning or explanation, the messages abruptly stop. He's been ghosted. Alex feels an immediate rush of fury, huffing, "How incredibly rude! What a complete waste of my precious time!" as he angrily deletes the app. While the act of ghosting is undeniably disrespectful and frustrating, Alex's intense anger might be masking a much deeper hurt. He might have felt genuinely hopeful and invested in this potential connection, and the sudden, unexplained silence triggers profound feelings of rejection, sadness, and perhaps even an underlying fear of never finding a meaningful relationship. The anger, in this case, provides a temporary sense of control and self-preservation, allowing him to externalize the blame onto the other person rather than sitting with the painful, vulnerable sting of disappointment and personal rejection. Imagine Ben, a diligent project manager, discovering a critical, potentially costly error in a report submitted by his new team member, Lisa. He immediately storms over to her desk, hands on hips, his voice raised, demanding to know how she could be so incredibly careless. On the surface, it clearly looks like Ben is furious at Lisa's mistake. But delve a little deeper, and you might uncover that Ben himself is under immense pressure from his own boss, feeling highly anxious about the project's looming deadline and genuinely fearful of how this error might negatively reflect on his leadership and competence. His anger towards Lisa becomes a convenient and immediate outlet for his own intense anxiety and fear of failure. It's often much easier to lash out at someone else than to honestly admit his own stress and vulnerability, either to his team or even to himself. So, if anger is so often a cleverly disguised mask, how do we learn to consistently see and understand what's truly hiding underneath? The profound key lies in developing a deeper level of emotional self-awareness. 6. Tip 1. Pause and reflect. When you feel that familiar surge of anger beginning to rise, make a conscious effort to hit the mental pause button. Instead of reacting immediately, take a few slow, deep breaths and sincerely ask yourself, what was the real underlying trigger here? What am I truly feeling in this exact moment, beyond just the anger? Is it profound sadness? With that pause, actively try to name the specific emotion that lies beneath the anger. Is it profound sadness, gnawing fear, deep disappointment, simmering jealousy, or perhaps a core insecurity? Sometimes simply putting a precise name to that hidden feeling can significantly reduce the overwhelming intensity of the anger itself. Express the primary emotion constructively. Once you've successfully identified the underlying feeling, make a conscious effort to address that primary emotion directly and constructively. Instead of saying, "I'm so mad you forgot that important thing," try, "I felt really disappointed and somewhat unimportant when you forgot." This approach undeniably takes significant courage, as expressing vulnerability can often feel incredibly risky and expose us. However, it is the most direct path to genuine connection, deeper understanding, and ultimately, true emotional resolution with others. It allows those around you to understand your true needs better and respond with empathy rather than defensiveness or confusion. Understanding anger as a secondary emotion is an incredibly powerful and transformative tool for personal growth and self-mastery. It empowers you to move far beyond purely reactive outbursts and truly connect with your most authentic, underlying self. It's fundamentally about transforming your entire relationship with your emotions, learning to attentively listen to what they're truly trying to communicate to you, and responding with profound wisdom, self-compassion, and intentionality. As the wise Carl Jung profoundly stated, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Embrace the rich complexity of your emotions, and you will undoubtedly unlock a profound and liberating understanding of yourself.